Well, it looks like Team Rocket is back up to their old tricks, with a massive Pokemon leak taking place over the weekend. We got a lot to get through, so let's break that down. Up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. Alright, so I want to preface this video. I think I caught everything, at least all the important stuff, in this leak. But as the days goes on, it looks like more information is coming out. So if I don't catch it here, we're probably gonna do another video on this. So what I thought was gonna be a quiet start to the week turned into one of the most chaotic stories of the year. That's right, in case you do happen to be living under a rock, the Pokemon developer Game Freak was reportedly hacked, and a bunch of stolen data was posted up online. Some of this data includes a bunch of unannounced games, concept art for used and unused Pokemon, source code for games, and even the apparent Switch 2 codename. And for those of you wondering, we're gonna start with all this codename business because there's a lot there, so let's get into that. So Nintendo Life was quick to report on this matter, and this is where it was revealed that the Switch 2's codename is actually Ounce. Next up, the codename for Gen 10 was also revealed being codename Gaia. And to kind of touch on that real quick, and this is all from memory, people are speculating Gen 10 is going to be inspired by Greece because it has to do with a bunch of islands. There's something with Gaia there related to a god. So I don't know. I would like a Pokemon game set in Greece. I think that would look beautiful. But yeah, there's that. And last but certainly not least, the codename for Pokemon Legends ZA being Ikaku. And a quick bit here for Pokemon Legends ZA, apparently Mega Zygrade is going to be a thing along with Mega Zeraora. Now there's one bit of that Pokemon Legends ZA news that I thought was pretty interesting, and that was it had an original planned release date of 2024. And Pokemon as a whole essentially took their foot off the gas here, so to speak, when churning out a ton of lower quality Pokemon games. So they kind of seen the fan reception, they seen how buggy that game was, and they thought, yeah, let's cool off for a little bit. Now, this is where it all factors into Gen 10, of course, because that game, much like past entries, will have two variants. And as of right now, they're known as K and N. But Nintendo wants to release this title for both the current Switch and its successor. And that's where Ounce came into play as that target platform. Now, another codename for an unannounced game is Synapse, which, according to these leaks, is said to be a co-developed game with Game Freak. Now, as for that other studio that is collaborating with Game Freak, I've seen a bunch of conflicting reports out here, but ILCA is apparently the one studio I've seen brought up the most, and for those of you who don't know, they're the ones behind Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes. And people have linked this to some kind of Pokemon Splatoon game, and I've heard other things comparing this to an MMO, but apparently that was proven false. The MMO is its own thing, and we got this game. Now on to the next bit of these leaks. We got some source code out in the wild too, which always gets out of hand, but it happens to be for some DS titles being Heart Gold and Soul Silver, along with Black and White 2. And what's interesting to me, Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Black and White 2 are some of the most highly regarded Pokemon games, so that source code being out there is insane. I'm gonna be pretty interested to see what people do with it, but yeah, that's wild. Now, along with that source code, there's a bunch of unused assets for Pokemon, like concept arts and music. And if you've been online, you've seen the countless amounts of Pokemon that were supposed to be, but weren't. And we're gonna touch more on that later. Now, the one thing I don't really see being talked about enough here are the various treatments and concept art for some live action and animated movies for Pokemon. Now, apparently this one does include a Detective Pikachu sequel, but what I was really hoping for is to just get a small peek at that live action Netflix show that is based around Red. But good news here, that is currently in development, so hopefully we see something soon. Now, in general thoughts here, I don't really think we've seen a leak of this scale in quite some time, especially when it pertains to a company like Pokemon specifically. Now, when talking about just the gaming industry, The most recent affair we did cover on this channel was that Insomniac leak, and that's where things like the Wolverine game were leaked. And honestly, it depends on who you ask, whether this one's more exposing than the Insomniac one, but when you really look at it, both companies suffered a massive leak. A lot of stuff is out there. I mean, things just keep coming in, and the Insomniac leak was the same way. Now, when comparing these two leaks, I think both are just as exposing. I don't think there's a clear winner here. You don't really want to be a winner when it comes to leaks. But yeah, a lot of stuff is out there. A lot of stuff still keeps coming in. So yeah, what a time to be a Pokemon fan. Now, speaking from the fan perspective here, I want to say up front, leaks like this are bad, and it does suck to see some hard work being undone so quickly, and a lot of things are just getting put on blast. And I did see a lot of personal information was put out there as well, so that's just something you never really want to see. But at the same time, it's crazy to see how much goes unreleased, and specifically I'm talking about the unreleased and unused Pokemon concept arts. The one thing that stuck out to me in this whole damn leak was the trio concept that would be Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. And what's funny there is the art features an entirely different Pokemon from the water starter, being Mudkip. So at some point in time, my favorite Pokemon starter of all time, being Mudkip, was never really a thing. It was that rabbit, but hey, I'm glad we got Mudkip. I love him. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this off to you guys. What do you think about this leak? What was your takeaway? What was your big thing from all this? And if there's more coming out about this, believe me, we're gonna do another video on this. But that about does it here. I've been Kalo, I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.